Final Fantasy XVI is just released in New Zealand, and I spent the last 6 hours streaming the full game over at twitch.tv/TomVSGaming, link in the description. I've never played a game before that's got me feeling the way I do right now. This game is bordering perfection. The world building, the characters, the story, oh my god, the story. Although I'm only about 8 hours in, I've learned a few things and I'd like to share them with you, completely spoiler free. Let me know in the comments if these things end up being helpful for you, and also leave some tips of your own down below. Without further ado, here are 5 things you should know before you start playing Final Fantasy XVI. My first tip will revolve around what abilities you'll want to master first. Final Fantasy XVI's ability tree allows you to spend AP to unlock abilities, but then also allows for you to spend some more AP to master them. Mastering abilities gives added effects to the abilities themselves, whether that means more damage or reduced charge times for attacks. The abilities I would recommend focusing on first would be your Precision Dodge, Swift Recovery, and Charged Magic. Mastering Precision Dodge grants you a longer trigger window, meaning you'll be able to get those perfect dodges way more often. This is super useful because successful precision dodges temporarily slows time and allows for you to counterattack with some pretty hefty combos. This is particularly helpful against those super agile and flying enemies that move very quickly. Swift Recovery allows you to instantly stand back up after being ragdolled. This gives you time to recoup and get out of the way of your enemy's combos. Swift Recovery also deals a melee attack to anybody who is near Clive while it's activated, and if you time it right, can even parry attacks. My last suggested ability is Charged Magic. I've specifically chosen this one due to the fact that Charged Magic does a ton more damage than a normal spell, but it also knocks small enemies off their feet. It drops flying enemies out of the sky, stuns larger enemies, and can also break an enemy's guard. A well-timed charge magic shot can open up more space for different combos and give you an edge in battle. An honorable mention though is Lunge. When mastered, Lunge can allow you to close a massive gap and cause some decent damage as well. The further away you are when you use this ability, the more potent the effects are. Well-timed lunges can also parry enemy attacks and will give you a lot of freedom to choose your next move. When it comes to combat, you will almost certainly be heavily relying on your dodges. My biggest piece of advice would be to not rush in too much. Final Fantasy XVI is by no means a Souls-like experience. The combat is very forgiving. However, it's not as easy as rushing in and spamming the attack button. You need to have a strategy, and you need to make sure that you rely on your precision dodging to slow down your opponent and get a few combos in. Very early on in the game, you'll stumble into a training arena where you can master your combat, and I recommend taking some time to try out different combos and test your new abilities. Work on your timing when it comes to dodges and parries, and perfect it. Parries are super difficult. This will come in super handy down the line. A combo I'd recommend you use often is after each attack, use triangle to follow it with a magic blast. You can turn a 4-hit melee attack combo into an 8-hit combo, including your magics as well. This does a lot of damage and also sends small enemies flying at the end of it. It's a super fun combo to pull off, and it looks the part too. As a secondary part of combat, you'll want to focus on breaking the enemy's will, as the game puts it, or staggering as we all know it. You'll find your iconic abilities deal a lot of damage, but also deplete your opponent's will gauge quite quickly. Make use of your icon abilities whenever possible, as they don't have a very long cooldown and you can use them quite often. Just like a classic Final Fantasy game, there are hidden treasures all over. Hidden items such as potions, or even hidden accessories that boost your iconic abilities' power. Make sure you travel through every corner of the map. Go through every single room, every nook and cranny. You'll be surprised where you'll find treasure lying around. Also, keep an eye out for clusters of enemies, especially in open areas. When enemies are clustered together, it normally means that there's treasure that they're guarding, so don't miss it. Read, read, read. The active time lore is available at all times and gives you some awesome backstory and lore about whatever it is relevant in the story at the time. Whenever you meet a new character, check the ATL. Whenever you enter a new town or area, check the ATL. Regularly reading the active time lore will keep you up to date with everything going on in the world of Valisthea as you progress through your journey, and it may also help you keep up with the story if you don't quite follow. I've kept this one at number 5 because not everyone will have pre-ordered the game, so not everybody will have access to the DLC items. But don't be like me and play 2 hours before realizing you can redeem them. The Braveheart sword is by far the most powerful weapon you'll have in the early game, so it pays to have that equipped. Not to mention the other 2 accessories that give the player a 25% boost to all gil earned and 10% boost to all XP earned respectively. Head to this point on the menu screen and simply press X on each item to send it to your inventory. And there's 5 things that I think you should know before going into this game. I'll make sure to update in another video as I progress through the game if there's any major things that I think are important to know, but for now, that's all from me. Leave a like if these tips are helpful for you and subscribe for more Final Fantasy XVI content. I've been Tom, you guys have been awesome, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.